All right, let's go. We're live here on the vertical also. Hopefully this is going to go good. You never know, never know. We never know how it's going to go, but thank you very much. If anybody's tuning in. Hopefully y'all are going to want to talk, because I do. Yeah. No. Nope. Hold on. All right, let's go. So, I'd like to thank everybody for coming in. 450-kilometer wide diameter. Prove me wrong. This is what changed the world 14,000 years ago. This is the impact right here. Let me change the angle. All right, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong, everybody. This is where it happened. I also have a video in reference here. Why there's less gravity. All right, they do explain that there's less gravity here in Canada. Oh, shit. Oh, shoot, sorry. Not shit, shoot. Okay, they say convection here. Can we take away the convection? All right, this is a map of the world. All right, we can see northern Canada here. We can see there is an impact that happened here. They go into it a little bit more in detail during this video, why the gravity is different there. And the floor is rising. Yeah, it's just physics, guys. It's just physics. But what happened there? Why is gravity different? Why the hell is it different? All right, why is it different in Hudson Bay? Well, that's exactly why, everybody. This is exactly why I'm trying to tell you. What happened. All right, it's going to go back to the video where there's the image there. Yeah, there was the ice sheet. There you go. So on the bottom of the ice sheet there, that's what saved us, guys. That's exactly what saved us, is that when the asteroid hit coming in from east to west, all right, when it hit the mantle, all right, it came in, it's still inside the earth, guys, and still inside the earth. Now all this earth, all of the mantle had to come back up, so all of that boiled away basically, and formed this new earth that we see here. And we can see that new earth was created. Why? Because the new earth just came like that. It was super liquid and just formed this Oreo sort of style that we can see. We can see the direction where it was coming from. I think that the impact, if we take a look at the middle of this, I think that the circle should finish around here, if you ask me. But more or less, this is 450-kilometer wide diameter. No one has disproven my theory yet. Guys, if you want to talk about this, please, if you think that this is correct, please drop a like, share it. We need to get this to Joe Rogan, to Graham Hancock. We need to get this to all of these people to get to know that this is a smoking gun itself. This is where it landed, all right? I can't even see across the world a place where there is a fresher crater. This is 8 to 10-kilometer wide diameter, all right? And we can see the direction of impact also all across. Everything was shaved. Everything is on an angle, everybody. I see you guys in here are just scrolling through are just scrolling through, but you know, we need to get people in here. Why? First of all, this can change my life, guys. All right, I've been stuck with this inside of my head. You don't know how much of a burden this is. That's what I mean, change my life. Just help me get rid of this burden of having the answer to this equation of what happened 14,000 years ago that changed the world. This is where it happened. I've been trying to invite people in here to prove me wrong. There is a Mr. Johnson that theorized that there was an asteroid that hit here millions of years ago. However, at the time, with not having any proof, the science in the scientific community back in the day told him that this was an asteroid, yes, but that hit billions of years ago. However, this is a fresher crater than what happened to the dinosaurs. This is a crater that is 14,000 years old, everybody. And we can definitely see before there was the ice sheet. Now, if an asteroid lands on the ice sheet, it's going to vaporize all that water, all that matter instantly. That's why there was water everywhere around the world, all right? But this created also a huge shock effect that came in the oceans and just sent a huge wave across the ocean and just devastated. I can't remember what was the name of who was in here. I got messages. Just give me a second. Might be urgent. Okay, so a huge wave came across the whole of Europe. When it hit the sea here, it just helped and gave it more water. So all of Africa, this is what caused the desertification of Africa. The impact that happened in northern Canada just sent so much water. They were underwater. Plants, people were underwater. Everything was underwater probably for months, the time that it took Noah to get back on land there. And all of this came back to the sea with gravity. And I really do think that Atlantis was here, everybody. This is the eye of the Sahara. All right. Mountains to the north. We can definitely see that this part here, there was water here that was here, everybody. There was water that was here. We can just see this was an obstruction, right? And we can see the rest of the salt that got gathered and back. We can see the direction of the water. It actually shredded the top of the mountains too, and created these effects here, but it just completely annihilated Atlantis, and it deposited sediments. Now the sediments were formed by all this water, right? This is huge, guys. This is huge. All of northern Africa, we get back here, and this is huge. This is a lot of space that is being drowned. All right, just imagine putting your plants underwater. All right, for a week or two, how they're going to be? They're going to be all smushy. Well, that is going to turn into sand eventually, and rocks and all that, and people and trees. So it turns into dust, basically. And all of that came back into the ocean. We can definitely see it all got deposited here. And I really do think that the ocean stopped. Maybe it stopped here at one time, or maybe more or less here. But I really do think that there was a way for people to go inside and to get to Atlantis. I really do think it was here. And not only is there the eye, but there's this sort of thing here also. There's this sort of eyebrow. So eyebrow. There's the mouth. But yeah, if people go looking for treasure, go looking for treasure down here. Because if there was gold in Atlantis and all of that got rushed, you might find some of it here. Anyways, but that's what caused the desertification of Africa, just to put that inside of my theories. It's more or less like a 2-on-1 that I'm trying to propose to you here, is that this is the impact crater itself. 450-kilometer wide diameter. All right, we got finally someone that's giving us a comment. Let's go. Hola. Candy Lydia Gonzalez. All right, well, salut. What I'm trying to propose right now, yes, I have a gaming channel, all right, and it's pretty hard for me to talk about science and do a live stream about science, but I got to let this secret out, everybody. I really do think that this is what caused the big flood, the Great Deluge. I really do think that this is the point of impact right here, northern Canada. I live approximately right here where hold on. I live right here where the mouse is, all right? I live more or less in this area, and I've always wondered, why is this a perfect semicircle? This is a 450-kilometer wide, this is a 450-kilometer diameter here. We can see the direction of impact, and also we can see an 8 to 10 kilometers that we can see the direction that all the rocks were just shredded off, but we can see the direction. Why? Because everything is heading in that direction. We can see that there were mountains there. bueno. And we can see also that the asteroid hit and came inside of the Earth, right? But the Earth had to bounce back. Well, when it bounced back, because when you think about it, the Earth is liquid, and the crust is just like thinner than the crust of pizza, so it had to balance itself. So when it balanced itself, it had to come back towards the direction of impact, which caused these islands. All right, it is probably a piece of the mantle that just blew up. Okay, I know what ciao means, but it don't ciao, ciao, bella, bella, bele. I don't know what to say in Spanish too much, but I'm just trying to get the word out there. All right. Proving this is a big weight on my shoulders. Is a big weight on my shoulders. And I don't want to say stuff that I don't know what it means in Spanish. I don't want to get caught or get or get blasted saying something bad, all right? Don't you get me like that. People try to get me in a lot of ways. But this ain't a gaming stream, all right, guys and girls? We're going to try to keep it serious a little bit. Not too much, you know? But, yeah, this is a direction of impact. I referenced this video also. Why is there a different gravity in Canada? Before, we used to have the ice shelf, but something happened. There was the asteroid, but the soil keeps coming back half an inch every year. Every year. But for how much time? Well, since 10,000 years ago. Or sorry, 14,000 years ago. So let me just go back. There's a certain map that I love for you guys to see. I don't want it to be written convection. That's the thing. All right. This is what I want you guys to see. You guys don't see it. I always reference this video, everybody. So the mass is different. We could definitely see the point of impact, and the asteroid is still down there. This is all the debris. But just imagine all of this being super, super hot. So it melted. It melted the ice shelf that was here, everybody. It melted everything, because where I live, it's pure dirt. I don't live on tundra or anything like that, and I live around here. It melted everything, and it melted everything. All right, it melted everything that was here, and it brought all of this wall of water. It brought this big wall of water. Mississippi is full of sediment. Well, that sediment is brought to you by the big wall of mud that just shredded everything, the trees, the animals, the people. You can see the big stones on the side, big stones on the back, and this big wall of mud. There was air that was trapped inside of this mud that got together, that formed these bubbles. And then once these bubbles got rid of their air, these bubbles formed a concave that we can see here. So this is mud. I'm in the woods a lot, everybody. Well, I was. Now I'm streaming more. But this is definitely mud that has air in it, and that air that got evacuated that caused these shapes here. And I'm very sad to say that if we're getting oil here, all right, if we're getting oil in this area right here, well, I'm afraid that before there might have been people. There might have been people, you know, from the point of impact, all right? From the point of impact, which is right up here, way down into the Mississippi, all right? I think that there was people there before, and all of that people, nature, everything just got shredded. So I really think that in gas, we're basic. I'm sorry to say this. I don't want to get executed over this too, because this is sensitive, right? If we're getting gas from there, it means that basically there might be people in there, man. Our ancestors, like 14,000 years ago, where there was people there, I'm sure of it. I'm freaking sure of it. And maybe I shouldn't mention that too much. But anyways, I'm going to go back to the point of impact here. And I'm going to be stopping the stream, but at least it's going to talk about my theory. Now, I really do think that there's a lot of debris that's right here. All of this, when you're taking a look, is this millions of years old? Was this really used up by glaciers? I don't know, but I can definitely see that there's a big point where something just came rushing in also. That just changed everything. So, anyways, one thing that I'd like to make sure to say is that this huge shock wave just came across the sea. I really do think that it rushed across here, and that's what caused the desertification of Africa. I really do think that the pyramids were there before. All right, the big pyramids were there before. They just got annihilated by the huge wall of water. I don't think that it's the people that live around here that took pieces of the pyramids, all right, to build their houses. I think that the pyramids were always really sacred, and I don't think that you would have been allowed to take pieces of the pyramid. I think that that would have been highly frowned upon. I think that they would have taken pieces from the sides here, anything like that. But I really think that all of this existed before. Maybe not the boats here. I think that the boats were maybe placed after the pyramids. All right, I really do think that they were placed after the pyramids. But either the pyramids were underwater completely, or this pyramid here, I think that maybe the wall of water would have not reached the top. Right, would have not reached the top. But I really do find, maybe it's just Google that's giving us a different angle here. But I really do think that most of the damage of the pyramid happened on a certain angle. All right, I think that this is the angle right here. So if we're looking for the outer casings, I think that they should be part of the desert right now. I don't think that we're going to be able to find them. Anyways, I really do think that the pyramids existed before, and this is what caused the desertification of Africa, is this huge wall of water, all right, that just came in, and that just, we can see where it evacuated. It just had to evacuate and just deposited all of the sediments there. And when it could evacuate towards the sea, this is exactly where it did it. It did it where there was the eye. All right, the eye right here. And I really do think that if you take a look at this, this is more or less the forehead, more or less the nose, more or less the mouth here. I really do think that this is a cougar. If, yeah, has a form of a cougar and maybe a pinch here, but yeah, this is maybe like a paw, something like that. But interesting what nature can let us see. But I really do think that Atlantis was here. We can definitely see that the wall of water here caused salt to be deposited. All right. Why is there salt in the desert? Why is there salt in the desert? Well, there was a huge wall of water that came in that destroyed it. And I really do think that people could get up to their boat and get up to here. We can also see like this round area, I think, accepted boats, more or less. Or you can come inside here. I don't know. You go inside here, and this was bigger. You could park your boat inside there. I don't know. But I really do think that you can get up to here. I don't think that this is the original sea. I think that this is just deposited, or at least here is all deposited. All right, and all came rushing towards the sea. So that's my theory, everybody. This is the impact crater itself, 450 kilometers. I don't know if I should continue a stream on gaming, or should I continue on this. I'll let you guys talk a little bit. I need you guys to say, yeah, Grinder, yeah, you got it, or no, you don't, and tell me why you don't, because no one has been able to tell me. And this is a huge secret, guys. This is what changed humanity. And it's important to know what happened in the past to be able to know what can happen in the future. This needs to get around the world. Why? Because it's just a huge weight on my shoulders, having the answer to this equation, the smoking gun that we've all been looking for. I've had this in my head my whole lifetime. I've been looking at maps and wondering, why is this so perfect? Why is this so perfect? Why is this so perfect? Then when I started listening to what was going on in the world, and to history and to science and all that, that's when I put two and two together, guys. I'm just stuck with this equation. So I'm going to be stopping the vertical. Thank you very much for coming in. Hopefully you liked it. See ya.